Welcome to the Soulful Insights podcast. I'm your host, Tandy, and I am so excited about today's episode. We're diving into a topic that has deeply inspired me, goddess archetypes and the incredible historical women who embodied their energy. For too long, many of these women and their stories have been erased from history and religion, but their wisdom, power, and courage are still here, waiting for us to rediscover them. It's time to bring them back into the light. Today we're going to uncover the inner warrior within you as we explore these goddess archetypes and learn how their strength and divinity can inspire our own lives. This podcast is here to help you reconnect with your inner power, your sacred essence, and the divine feminine energy that flows through you and all of creation. We'll highlight archetypes like Kali, the fierce goddess of transformation, Quan Yin, the embodiment of compassion, and Isis, the goddess of resurrection and magic. We'll also celebrate historical women like Joan of Arc, Mary Magdalene, and Enheduanna, who was the first recorded author in history, whose lives show us what it means to live with purpose, resilience, and strength. By the end of this episode, you will not only feel more connected to these powerful archetypes, but also learn practical tools and techniques to embody their energy in your everyday life. So let's get started on this transformative journey together. So why does this topic matter? In Western culture, the feminine has been systematically erased from history and religion. We live in a world where powerful female deities, historical figures, and their contributions have been erased, buried, and/or simply ignored. Unlike many Eastern or indigenous cultures that celebrate the divine feminine, Western society offers no widely recognized female deity for women to relate to. This absence has left women disconnected from their own feminine history, power, and divinity. It's critical that we reclaim this knowledge, for when women know their history, when they understand the feminine divine, they also come to know who they truly are. Let me share the story of Mileva Merrick. I bet you've never heard of her name before, but you probably have heard the name of the scientist whose name was on the paper she co-authored, Albert Einstein. I bet you've heard that name. Mileva was a brilliant mathematician and physicist whose contributions to one of the most celebrated scientific breakthroughs in history were overshadowed. Mileva was Albert Einstein's first wife and an intellectual powerhouse in her own right. A rare woman in her era to study at the Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich. She excelled in mathematics and physics, and her genius was undeniable. It's widely believed that Mileva provided the mathematical framework for Einstein's theories, including the groundbreaking theory of relativity. Their letters reveal a deep intellectual partnership, with Einstein referring to, quote, our work as they developed ideas together. Yet because of the prejudices of the time, her name was removed from co-authored papers, as work by a woman would not have been respected. She was robbed of the recognition she rightfully deserved. Mileva's story isn't just one of heartbreak, it's one of resilience. She symbolizes the intelligence, creativity, and power of women that Western culture has long sought to suppress. Her erasure from history echoes the larger pattern of silencing women, often in the name of patriarchal religion, and the writings of figures like the Apostle Paul, whose teachings reinforced male dominance. But by honoring Mileva and women like her, we begin to dismantle these false narratives and reclaim the divine feminine in our daily lives. This reclamation isn't just important, it's revolutionary. It's necessary. It reminds us that women's voices, intellect, and power have always been here, waiting to be seen, heard, and celebrated. And I want to introduce another little story here that I watched on a reel recently. The very first woman to run a marathon. And as you watch the video of this marathon that she's running, men are chasing after her, trying to stop her. She was not allowed. They did not want her there. They didn't believe that women's bodies were strong enough. They didn't believe that women belonged in sports or running. But she completed a marathon. And now today we know very well women are powerful and strong and deserve in every right to be in a marathon. Many of us don't know this history. Many of us have never seen these things or are unaware, because the erasure of women throughout history is not something patriarchy wants us to know about. So let's discuss the feminine inner warrior. This is a powerful force that will bring anyone who witnesses it to their knees in awe and respect. So I want to give you one example of the feminine inner warrior from my experience as a student midwife many years ago. I was attending the birth of a young woman. So not her birth, but, she was giving birth. She was single, and let's just say that the details surrounding this pregnancy were more than merely unplanned. She had apprehension about the impending birth due to the circumstances, but she was surrounded by unconditional love and support from her family. And I just ask that you please not judge the situation or circumstances. It is not your right. This was this woman's choice. She was loved. She was acting out of love, and it was a beautiful experience. So I ask that you reserve judgment and just listen to this story with an open heart and an open mind, okay? I arrived at the home, and as I entered and started becoming acquainted with her family, I became aware that this was her parents' home and that she was a college student. They had dimmed the lights, set out candles, created a beautiful sacred space for this little soul to enter the world. There was the big pool of warm water in the center of the living room. And this mother embodied courage and power as her labor entered transition. And this little one was soon to arrive. She lay on the couch for several hours, and then her labor in stillness and pause. Her labor just went into a stillness, giving her space to process. Instead of the way the medical community may see this as a problem, we recognized it is necessary. She needed that pause. The midwife recognized her fear and helped her confront the fear that had created this moment of stillness in her labor. And this went on for a couple of hours, this just stillness, as she processed her fears and her emotional pain and let out a roar, giving a voice to her emotion and allowing it to move through her. And as she did, labor began again. Her father entered as she labored in a pool of gently warm water. He sat on a chair in the corner of the room and began to play the guitar and sing. Soon, we all joined in singing in the candlelight in the wee hours of the morning as this little baby boy entered the world. She scooped him up out of the water with tears in her eyes and held him against her chest. The baby's grandma had her arms around her daughter and her new grandbaby and sobbed at the miracle that had just arrived earthside. We all stood in honor and awe at the courage, power, and the inner feminine warrior of this woman. There is an inner feminine warrior within all of us. Women embody a unique intellect, wisdom, the power of creation, whether that means to create life, to create a powerful business enterprise, or anything in between. When she creates, she is a force to be reckoned with. The feminine can embody stillness, nurturing, and softness, but she can also be fierce, courageous, bold, and powerful. The feminine strength is inner strength, but it is a strength that is unmatched. These qualities of strength, boldness, and power are the ones society will never attribute to women. And yet, they are the very essence of the inner feminine warrior. Did you know that the strongest muscle in the human body is only found in the female body? It's the uterus, the organ of creation. Not necessarily the entire thing, the muscles of the uterus, I guess I should say. That muscle. This organ is not just about the birth of life, although it certainly is that. And none of us would be here without courageous women who are willing to embody that courage and strength. But it also symbolizes all of the power, strength, and creation that the female brings into the world. It symbolizes her power of taking something microscopically small and magnifying it by the millions in her power to create. And a woman will do this with everything, not just sperm to create life. A woman can take anything and magnify it by the millions. Her power to create is endless and infinite. This is who you are as a woman, powerful beyond measure. Women also embody a spiritual depth that men do not have, because women are the gatekeepers between the realm of spirit and the realm of the physical existence. They are an open portal into this world and have a deeper connection to the spiritual because of this. The feminine embodies the duality of being nurturing creators and fierce protectors, and they have both. Being a fierce protector is not just a masculine, it is a masculine trait, but it is not one that is only held by men. Have you ever heard of mama bear? I could tell you many stories of embarrassing my children being mama bear. Don't mess with the mama bear. That is the fierce protecting nature of the feminine. So let's begin our journey into the powerful world of goddesses by highlighting the Egyptian goddess Isis. So we're going to start with her. We're going to go through a few others. So Isis stands as one of the most revered deities in ancient Egyptian mythology, embodying the roles of the goddess of magic, healing, and my favorite, the goddess of resurrection. And I love this, that we have spiritual traditions of males embodying this power of resurrection and a female goddess embodying this power of resurrection. And you will find there is a duality in all of these things. There is both the feminine aspect of this and the masculine aspect, and there always is. You cannot have one without the other. You cannot have only one male god. It just doesn't work. So her narrative is central to the myth of Osiris, her husband. He was murdered and dismembered by his brother. Demonstrating unparalleled devotion and magical prowess, Isis meticulously gathered the scattered pieces of Osiris's body, and through her profound knowledge and power, she resurrected him. This act not only restored Osiris to life, but also established him as the god of the afterlife, underscoring Isis's power with resurrection and her deep connection to the cycles of life and death. Beyond her role in the resurrection of Osiris, Isis was also celebrated as a goddess of magic and healing. Now, magic, you can insert another word there if that bothers you. She was revered for her ability to heal the sick, protect the vulnerable, and even control the forces of nature. Her power was seen as a source of life and renewal, further solidifying her status as a powerful, benevolent deity. So the archetype goddess Isis serves as a profound symbol for women's innate capacity to resurrect and transform their own lives and the lives of others. Her story exemplifies the inner feminine power that women have that has been suppressed by culture, society, and religion. Women are powerful healers because of their inner power of creation. In contemporary times, women can draw inspiration from Isis's narrative to recognize their own potential for renewal and change. Whether overcoming personal challenges, guiding others through healing processes, or initiating societal transformations, the spirit of Isis embodies the strength and power inherent in the feminine divine. By connecting with the archetype of Isis, women are reminded of their intrinsic power to heal, transform, and resurrect aspects of their lives that may have been fragmented or suppressed. Embracing this energy encourages a journey toward wholeness, empowerment, and the realization of one's divine potential. So let's move into highlighting women throughout history who have embodied the goddess archetype, and then we'll go back to highlighting a few more goddesses as well. Throughout history, women have risen as living embodiments of goddess archetypes, demonstrating resilience, wisdom, and transformative power. These historical figures challenge us to see their qualities within ourselves, reminding us of our own potential for greatness. So let's dive into their stories and draw inspiration from their lives. And I want to start with Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene is often misunderstood and has been very misrepresented in history. In fact, we know that the patriarchy tried to paint Mary Magdalene as a prostitute, which is wildly inaccurate and completely untrue. She was a symbol of spiritual wisdom and devotion. She was a close follower and disciple of Jesus. She was the first witness to his resurrection. She was actually called the apostle to the apostles because she was asked to take the message of the resurrection to the 12 apostles, placing her in a higher position. She embodied the archetype of transformation, spiritual leadership, and divine connection. Mary's unwavering faith and role as a spiritual leader, yes, spiritual leader, reflect her inner strength and profound wisdom. She reminds us that true power comes from within, and that devotion and love are transformative forces. For modern women, Mary Magdalene inspires a reclamation of their spiritual sovereignty and a deeper connection to the divine feminine. As the patriarchy tried to suppress her, tried to silence her, tried to demonize her, to discredit the power and authority that she had. And yet her name still stands thousands of years later. And it's time for us to rise up and break away the lies of the patriarchy, to crack it open and see this powerful spiritual woman for who she truly was. And also within yourself, crack open the patriarchy and see who you truly are with a deep connection to the feminine divine. So we're going to move on to Joan of Arc, talking about bravery, divine guidance, and self-sacrifice. Joan of Arc was a young peasant girl, and she rose to lead the French army through divine visions and unshakable faith. Her courage and determination in the face of overwhelming odds reflect the warrior archetype. Remember, we talked about that inner feminine warrior in its purest form. She was sentenced to death in May of 1431. Why? For dressing as a male to lead the military of France to victory. They won. Under her leadership, they won. But they put her to death anyway for dressing like a man. She was eventually declared innocent in 1456, 25 years after she was executed by being burned at the stake for simply dressing as a man. Joan's story reminds women today of their capacity for bravery and their ability to act on intuition and inner guidance, even when the world doubts them. She is a testament to the power of believing in yourself and the willingness to sacrifice for a higher cause, proving that every woman has the strength to be a warrior for truth. Joan of Arc is an amazing inspiration to all women because she did something that it was believed a woman could never do, to lead a military to victory. And she did it as a young girl. And I want you to realize that that same bravery, that same power is also within you. And then we're going to move into Marguerite Porete. Mystical faith and fearlessness. So Marguerite was a medieval mystic. She was the author of the book, The Mirror of Simple Souls, a book that spoke of spiritual liberation and unity with the divine. Her fearless devotion to her faith and her refusal to recant her beliefs, even when faced with execution, highlight her as an archetype of spiritual courage. Marguerite's legacy teaches women to stand firm in their truth, no matter the opposition. She reminds us that fearlessness in the face of persecution is a powerful act of self-sovereignty and spiritual alignment. And the thing I love about Marguerite, she was a mystic. She had beautiful spiritual beliefs about spiritual liberation and unity with the divine, which were heretical in her time. And they wanted her to recant her beliefs and threatening to execute her because of them. This is a powerful lesson for those of you who are going through faith transitions from high demand religions. You are seen as a heretic. You are seen in a similar light, and while you may not face execution, you may face the loss of family, you may face the loss of friends, you may face massive losses in your life because you want to hold true what is within you, what you have discovered in your life, that the high demand religion was not true and that it holds people captive. Similar to Marguerite talking of spiritual liberation and unity with the divine, things that embody love but free you from the need to have an intermediary between you and God. Breaking free of that and embodying that sovereignty and spiritual alignment is powerful. And Marguerite is definitely the one to think about when you're going through that phase in your life. And then we move on to Thecla. I love Thecla. Defying societal norms with spiritual strength. So again, we have another spiritual rebel. I love these women because they rebel against the patriarchy. And they just walk to the beat of their own drum unapologetically. And I want to tell you, that's where you need to find yourself. So Thecla was a disciple of Paul, the apostle. And she defied societal norms by rejecting marriage and dedicating her life to spiritual pursuits. And if you think about it, in today's society, women are still expected to get married. And the more women there are now that are refusing to get married, the patriarchy is losing their minds about it. But if this is something you find yourself in, where you're walking to the beat of your own drum, you may have rejected marriage or not had children, and you receive the judgment because people believe that that's the only thing that you're good for, Thecla is your girl. She was a powerhouse. She survived persecution, imprisonment, and even attempts on her life for the choice that she made to reject marriage and dedicate her life to her spiritual pursuits. Now, you may never experience that type of persecution, imprisonment, or an attempt on your life. But she experienced this embodying the archetype of the spiritual rebel. Her unwavering faith and determination to follow her divine calling inspire all women to break free from societal and religious expectations to embrace their own path. Thekla's story is a powerful reminder that spiritual strength and inner freedom can overcome even the harshest obstacles. They tried to kill her, and you know what? They couldn't. They couldn't do it. She always escaped. When men tried to force Thekla to marry them, she would always escape and proclaim, "I am my own." And that is a mantra that I've embodied in my own life. I am my own. It is a mantra you can use to escape the emotions that you may have experienced from abuse, from religious trauma, from anything else. When you walk in your own light and in your own truth, you can always proclaim, "I am my own." I love that. That may end up being a tattoo someday. I don't know. All right, so let's move on to Enheduanna, intellectual and spiritual leadership. So Enheduanna is the world's first recorded author. So realize this woman lived thousands of years ago in BCE. So she lived a very long time ago. She was a priestess, a poet, and a political leader in ancient Mesopotamia. Her hymns to the goddess Inanna reflect her deep spiritual wisdom and creative brilliance. As a high priestess, she wielded significant influence, uniting spiritual and political power. Enheduanna's legacy teaches women the importance of intellectual and spiritual leadership, something that has been robbed of women for a very long time. Women now can have intellectual leadership. She can be a CEO of a company, but she certainly cannot be a pastor today. But the importance of women in spiritual leadership, it is important that women are in spiritual leadership. She proved that women can shape history and culture through their voices and vision. She inspires modern women to step into their power and lead with grace and purpose. Each of these extraordinary women embodies divine goddess archetypes: Mary Magdalene's wisdom, Joan of Arc's bravery, Marguerite's fearlessness, Thekla's spiritual strength and rebellion, and Enheduanna's leadership. Their stories serve as mirrors, reflecting the potential for greatness that exists within every single woman. As you hear these women's stories, I want you to ask yourself, which archetype resonates with me? What divine qualities can I embody in my own life? These women remind us that the divine feminine isn't a distant ideal. It's alive in you, waiting to be awakened. Embrace it. And you too can become a living goddess archetype in your own story. So now I want to move into the goddess archetypes and the way they point to power within every woman. Goddess archetypes embody timeless qualities of strength, wisdom, and love, offering a mirror to the divine feminine within each of us. Let's explore these powerful figures from various cultures throughout time and how their stories inspire modern women to embrace their own inner power. So we're going to start with Kali, who is a fierce protector and destroyer of negativity. Kali is a Hindu goddess of destruction and transformation. She's often depicted with a fierce, untamed appearance, wielding weapons and adorned with a garland of skulls. She can look fairly frightening. Her story tells of a battle against demons, where her unstoppable rage and power destroy evil and bring balance back to the world. Kali represents the archetype of the fierce protector, and yes, that is absolutely a part of the inner feminine warrior. So she was unafraid to face darkness and to bring light. Modern women can channel Kali's energy by standing up for themselves, cutting ties in toxic relationships, and embracing internal strength and power as a path to transformation and growth. So then we move into Lakshmi, balance of the material abundance and spiritual wealth. She is also a Hindu goddess of prosperity. She's associated with abundance, beauty, and good fortune. Lakshmi, adorned with radiance and grace, chose Vishnu as her consort, symbolizing the union of material abundance and divine protection. She's often depicted seated on a lotus flower. She represents purity, fertility, and the unfolding potential of life. So this is, it really is interesting when we have Kali and Lakshmi. Both of them really represent the beauty that the feminine is. This power of destroying the demons and bringing light into the darkness, this destroyer of negativity. And then we have the balance of Lakshmi, who is radiance and grace and fertility and the unfolding potential of life, which women do hold. Lakshmi is invoked during the Festival of Lights, where devotees seek her blessings for prosperity, well-being, and spiritual fulfillment. Her story inspires balance, reminding us to harmonize material wealth with spiritual richness. And I love that. I love that story. She blesses her devotees with material and spiritual wealth, emphasizing the importance of the harmony between the two. And that is absolutely necessary. If you have material wealth and you are not grounded in the spiritual, it can very much become a problem. It leads to desires for power and control of other people. It also leads to a lack of compassion and other things when we have a lot on one side and not the other. Her archetype reminds us that success and inner peace can coexist. Women today can embody Lakshmi by seeking balance in their lives, pursuing their ambitions while staying grounded in gratitude, compassion, and service to others. So remember, always pursuing your ambitions is something that's so important to women and something that they've been told they should not do. So that is a message that so many women need. And then we're going to move into green Tara. I love green Tara. Compassion paired with decisive action. So green Tara is a Buddhist goddess of compassion and protection. So green Tara is revered as the mother of all Buddhas. This title reflects her embodiment of the wisdom from which all enlightened beings arise. The Tara Tantra describes her as a mother who gives birth to the Buddhas of the 3 times, and as being beyond samsara and nirvana. So she's also known as the savior goddess. She is often called upon for swift assistance in times of trouble, and her name means she who ferries across, symbolizing her role in guiding others through difficulties. Green Tara teaches women to combine empathy with decisive action. In modern life, her energy inspires us to act with kindness while taking bold steps towards solving problems and helping others. And I love that this describes her as the mother that gives birth to the Buddhas. She is definitely like the mother of all Buddhas. Do we hear about Green Tara? No, we only hear about Buddha. Again, we have this erasure of women, and it's time that we bring this back into the collective consciousness. So now we're going to move again into Quan Yin, strength in mercy and grace. So Quan Yin, she's a Buddhist goddess of mercy and embodies infinite compassion and grace. She's revered as a protector of the vulnerable and a source of healing. Her archetype speaks to the power of forgiveness and the strength found in gentleness. Modern women can invoke Quan Yin by practicing self-compassion, extending kindness to others, and finding strength in vulnerability. And then we're going to move into Shekinah. Again, another one that I love. I don't know, I guess I love them all, but divine connection and nurturing presence. So Shekinah is the feminine aspect of God in Jewish mysticism, and she represents the divine presence and the nurturing force of creation. She is a symbol of spiritual connection and the sacredness of life. So in Jewish tradition, lighting candles to welcome Shabbat is a cherished ritual that symbolizes inviting peace and the sanctity into the home. This practice is deeply connected to the Shekinah, the feminine aspect of the divine presence. The Shekinah is often associated with light and is considered to dwell among the people, especially during sacred times. So the act of lighting Shabbat candles is traditionally performed by women who kindle the lights approximately 18 minutes before sunset on Friday evening. This ritual not only marks the beginning of Shabbat, but also serves as an invitation for the Shekinah to enter the home, bringing divine light and presence. The illuminated candles are seen as a manifestation of the Shekinah's light, enhancing the spiritual atmosphere of the household. Shekinah's energy encourages women to honor their intuition, cultivate sacred spaces, and nurture relationships. In daily life, she inspires mindfulness, emotional connection, and the recognition of divine energy in all things. So I love that. We have, as you've noticed, divine feminine archetypes in all kinds of cultures. And I'm not highlighting all of them because otherwise we'd be here too long. So now we're going to move into Lilith. Lilith is often depicted as Adam's first wife in Jewish folklore. She is a symbol of independence and also rebellion, which I really love her for that. She refused to submit to Adam. She chose freedom over subjugation. While her story has been vilified in patriarchal traditions, obviously, Lilith represents the archetype of unapologetic autonomy and self-sovereignty. And she's become very popular among a lot of empowered women. Modern women can channel Lilith by embracing their independence, standing up for their rights, and rejecting societal norms that limit their potential. And in that, I absolutely love the message of Lilith. Then we have Brigid. Brigid was a Celtic goddess of poetry, healing, smithcraft. She is a multifaceted deity who bridges the realms of creativity and resilience. She's celebrated for her ability to inspire artistic expression, foster healing, and forge strength through hardship. Women today can embody Brigid by embracing their creative passions, tending to their emotional and physical well-being, and finding strength in adversity. And then we move into White Buffalo Calf Woman. And she is a sacred figure in Lakota tradition, bringing wisdom and spiritual teachings to her people. She is revered for introducing the sacred pipe and guiding her followers toward harmony with the earth and each other. Her archetype embodies wisdom, sacred rituals, and peace. Modern women can connect with her energy by honoring the natural world, seeking balance in life, and creating rituals that ground them in their spiritual practices. So, these goddess archetypes offer profound lessons for women today. Kali's fierce determination inspires setting boundaries. Lakshmi's balance reminds us to cultivate both inner and outer wealth. Green Tara's compassion encourages decisive action, and Quan Yin's grace teaches us the power of forgiveness. Lilith's independence, Brigid's creativity, White Buffalo Calf Woman's wisdom, they all call us to stand strong in our truth and connect with our spiritual roots. In everyday life, these archetypes manifest in countless ways. A woman starting a new career after a major life change channels Kali's transformative energy. A mother nurturing her children while pursuing her passions embodies Lakshmi. A friend offering support to someone in need exemplifies Green Tara. The divine feminine lives in all of us, waiting to be awakened and expressed in our unique lives. So I want to offer you practical tools for connecting with these goddess archetypes. Engaging with goddess archetypes is a powerful way to connect with your inner divine energy. or your higher self. So here are some practical tools and techniques to help you access and embody these transformative qualities in your daily life. Number one, meditation practices. This is something that we all should be doing. And I want to give you a couple examples of how to embrace the goddess archetypes in your meditation practice. So if you're looking to Isis for transformation, visualize Isis placing her wings around you, helping you shed old patterns and step into renewal. Or visualizing Kali's protection. Picture her cutting away the negativity in your life and empowering you with fierce determination. These can be parts of your meditation practice, learning from these divine feminine archetypes. Imagine yourself as a radiant figure embodying the qualities of your chosen archetype. Even an archetype from history. See yourself as a fierce warrior like Joan of Arc, or compassionate and nurturing like Quan Yin. Allow their energy to fill your being and inspire your actions. The next one is journaling. This is something I used to do, more religious ideas of like a diary style journal. But today I do journaling, and I think it's really, really, really important for growth and change. So ask yourself these questions and write in your journal. What aspect of my inner goddess do I want to embrace today? How can I embody resilience like Bridget in my current challenges? What transformations in my life mirror the energy of Kali? How can I balance material and spiritual abundance like Lakshmi? In what ways can I extend compassion to myself and others like Quan Yin? What divine wisdom do I feel Isis is revealing to me? How can I defy societal expectations like Lilith and embrace my sovereignty and authenticity? What sacred rituals can I create to honor the goddess within? How can I act with swift compassion like green Tara in a current situation? Or what part of my life feels out of alignment, and how can I realign with my divine feminine energy? Those are a few questions. Drop in meditation and go into intuitive writing and see what you find. You could also embody daily affirmations. I am strong, fierce, and fearless like Kali. I am abundant in all areas of my life, embodying Lakshmi's blessings. I act with compassion and purpose, inspired by green Tara. I forgive myself and others, channeling Quan Yin's grace. I honor my intuition and divine connection like Shekinah. I embrace my independence and authenticity like Lilith. I am resilient and creative, inspired by Bridget's strength. I create harmony and sacred peace, guided by white buffalo calf woman. I am a vessel of transformation and renewal like Isis. Or I embody the wisdom and power of the divine feminine in all I do. You can also create rituals, lighting candles in honor of the archetype you would like to invoke, using specific colors like red for Kali or green for Tara. You could use crystals like amethyst for intuition, symbolizing Isis, or carnelian for courage. Create a small altar with symbols, images, or offerings tied to your chosen archetype. Breath work and sound healing are also practices that are very transformative. Breath work exercises clear blockages and awaken your inner divine energy. You could engage in deep belly breathing while focusing on your heart chakra to invoke Quan Yin's compassion. Or take quick, energizing breaths to summon Kali's fierce energy. Use instruments like singing bowls or specific frequencies like 528 hertz for transformation, or higher hertz to connect with the divine feminine. You could use divine feminine oracle cards. I have some of my own that I really enjoy. They can be a deeply intuitive way to connect with archetypes and receive guidance. Choose a card daily or for specific situations, reflecting on how the archetype's qualities align with your journey. These cards serve as a gentle nudge from the divine feminine, offering insights and inspiration. And obviously, any of these, choose ones that resonate with you. If it doesn't, don't worry. You'll find one that does. Tapping into your inner divine warrior. The journey through goddess archetypes isn't just about learning their stories. It's about integrating their power into your daily life. Each archetype holds transformative energy that can inspire how you navigate challenges, nurture relationships, and pursue passions in your life. When facing a difficult decision, call upon Green Tara's energy for swift, compassionate action. If you're feeling overwhelmed by negativity, visualize Kali cutting away the fears and the doubts and the negativity, empowering you to stand tall. In moments of creative inspiration, channel Bridget's resilience to follow through. When navigating conflict or stress, embody Quan Yin's grace and mercy. You can balance creation and protection in your everyday roles. If you're a mother, balance nurturing your children with standing firm and setting healthy boundaries, embodying both Lakshmi's generosity and Kali's protective strength. As a professional woman, bring Shakina's wisdom into your work, creating a sense of purpose and connection in your career while protecting your time and energy. As a partner, act with Isis's transformative love, fostering growth and renewal in your relationship while ensuring mutual respect and care. As a friend, be a source of support and healing, channeling White Buffalo Calf Woman's wisdom and peace to create sacred spaces for connection. So, I want to introduce an exercise, if it resonates with you, to create your Divine Feminine Warrior Manifesto. Take a moment to reflect on the goddess archetypes that we talked about today that resonate most deeply with you. And then I want you to write a personal manifesto that declares your vision of your divine power. And I want to give you a little guide to help you get started. Name your archetype allies. So identify the archetypes that inspire you. Is that Thekla or Quan Yin, Kali? Who is it? Green Tara. So for example, I call upon Kali for strength, or Quan Yin for grace, or Bridget for creativity. And then I want you to declare your power. Write statements that affirm your unique qualities and potential. For example, I'm a fierce protector of my energy and a source of compassion for myself and others. That's a statement embodying Kali's energy, and you could say Quan Yin or even Green Tara, right? And then set intentions. Outline how you are going to embody these energies in your daily life. And I want you to be specific about this. I will approach challenges with bravery, nurture relationships with love. I will stand firm in my truth. I will set strong boundaries, whatever it is that you need to do. And then I want you to conclude with a commitment. End with a declaration of your commitment to honor your inner divine warrior. So, as an example, I vow to live as a reflection of the divine feminine, creating, protecting, and transforming with purpose and power. This manifesto is a powerful reminder of your innate divinity and strength. Keep it somewhere visible. You can put it on your mirror, in a journal, on your altar, wherever you're going to see it, and revisit it often. It's a declaration of your commitment to live boldly, with the energy of the goddess archetypes guiding your path. As we wrap up this episode, let's take a moment to reflect on the incredible journey we've just taken together. We've explored goddess archetypes like Kali, Lakshmi, Quan Yin, Isis, and celebrated the lives of historical women like Joan of Arc, Mary Magdalene, and Enheduanna. Each of these figures embodies qualities that remind us of the infinite potential within every woman, the courage to transform, the wisdom to lead, compassion to heal, and the resilience to create. These archetypes and stories aren't just tales of the past. They are mirrors reflecting the divine energy within you. You are a living embodiment of these qualities, capable of weaving their strength, wisdom, and love into your own daily life. I want you to take some time this week to connect with an archetype that has resonated with you today. Practice a guided meditation, journal your reflections, or create a small ritual to invite the energy of that archetype into your life. Share your experiences with the Soulful Insights community on social media. We'd love to hear your journey and celebrate your inner divine warrior. You can follow me at Tandy Hartle on Instagram if you want more. Remember, you are divine. You are powerful. Within you lies the ability to embody the strength of Kali, the compassion of Quan Yin, the creativity of Bridget, and the wisdom of Isis. These archetypes are not distant ideals. They are a part of who you are. Tap into their energy, embrace your inner warrior, and step boldly into the life you are meant to lead. And until next time, remember, you are the embodiment of divine strength, wisdom, and love. Step boldly into your power and let the goddess within you shine.